Most of y'all face difficulty in drawing the biological figures or biological diagrams. Also, you all are in confusion regarding how we have to write an answer to a particular question. Like for example, if I ask you to draw the structure of a typical flower and explain it, then you don't understand like what point should come in that answer and how you have to express yourself or how you have to explain the answer in points. So everything we are going to discuss in today's video. You will be drawing the diagram stepwise as I am going to show you. So it would be better if you sit with a pencil and a notebook. You will draw the diagram with me so that you clearly understand how you are supposed to draw it and with the correct proportion and with correct labeling. So let's get started. First, what you will draw is you will show the stalk of the flower like this. Draw these two parallel lines. Okay, this is the stalk of the flower. Then you will draw the sepals present at the base of the flower, the green colored leaf like structures. So you will draw it like this. Draw these leaf like structures, leaf like parts. Like this. So these are the sepals. Afterwards we'll be labeling everything. This is the stalk of the flower. These are the sepals of the flower. Okay. Then in the center of the flower you will show the stigma. See, you will make a notch over here such that in that notch you will fit in the ovary of the flower. So let us make it like this. A small bulb-like structure, you will draw it like this. And then again two parallel lines extending with a flower shaped structure on the upper side like this. Alright. Is it clear? Is the image clear? Alright. So this is the stigma of the flower. Now what we will show? We'll draw the petals of the flower. So petals we can start like this. You can draw it with me. Show it from the base like this. Let us make this shape like this. Alright. Now we will draw the anther or the stamens of the flower. We start from the base like this. Again two parallel lines this way. Show it on the opposite side also this way. Then again show two more anthers like this. And then you will show a bulb-like structure here. Just two ovals you will draw like this. Two ovals, very simple. Like this. Done. So this is the part, these are the parts of the flower. Now, in this basal part, see over here, the one which I have drawn in blue color. Inside it, you will show the ovules. So this part, see I am highlighting this part. Inside, you will draw a straight line like this. And you will simply show ovules which you can draw in the form of an eight like structure. drawing this 8 like that, you can show this way. So these are the ovules of the flower. Alright. So we have finished drawing the outline of the flower. Let me just make it more darker. So these are the petals. Like this we'll be showing. Now what we will do is we'll label the different parts of the flower. So to label the parts of the flower, let us begin with the base of the flower. So the base or the stalk of the flower, that means this part I am going to label. Arrow pointed towards the organ, and this part is called as the pedicel. Pedicel, which is the stalk of the flower. Then you can see these structures, this part. These are the leaf-like structures, very small structures present at the base of the flower, and they are called as sepals. So arrow towards the organ and label it as sepals. Then move to the inner wall of the flower. This wall of the flower, which you commonly know, it is called as the petals. This part. Petals. Then move to the inner part of the flower. Now we will draw some labels on the left side, some labels on the right side for clear understanding. So I am labeling this part of the flower. This is called as the filament. The upper part of the flower, upper part of this filament is called as the anther. Anther and filament together, this complete whole is called as the stamen. Writing in capitals because it would be easier for you all to relate to it. So anther and filament is called as the stamen. That means stamen is the part of the flower which contains filament and anther. What is the significance of it? That we'll see in a short while. Now, we will label the central part of the flower which I have drawn in blue color. So, this part, upper part of the flower, bulb which we have drawn, bulb name is the uppermost part. It is called as the stigma. Then the long two parallel lines which we have drawn, a tube-like structure, this part, we will label it as style, and the base of the flower, we will label it as this part, we will label it as the ovary. Inside the ovary, those eight-shaped structures which we have drawn, these ones, these are called as the ovules. And together, stigma, style and ovary, together, this part is called as the carpel. Carpel. Alright. Now, this is the complete labeling of the flower which is typical flower. So simple and easy diagram of a flower you can draw. Okay. Now let us understand the various parts of the flower in details. So the base, some flowers is having the stalk, and the flowers with a stalk, the stalk of the flower, it is called as the pedicel, and flowers with a pedicel are called as pedicellate flowers. Then if you move to draw the structure of a flower from outside to inside, outermost part of the flower, it is called as the sepal. Then we see variously colored petals. In the center, we see the anther and filament and the pollen grains. How do you identify the pollen grains? If you take a flower and if you just tap it on your hand, fingers on your hand, you will observe very small minute grains which are called as pollen grains. So anther produces pollen grains. Then we have the central part of the flower, which is a stigma, style and oval. So if you open the flower, you will observe that at the base of the flower there is ovules, or the ovary is also present at the base of the flower. So this is how a flower looks like. Now, I have told you how you are going to draw the structure of the flower. Now we will see how you are going to explain the flower, explain the structure of a flower. If you have to draw, if you have to write this answer in your exam, in your boards when you have to write it, how you will start the answer. So what is the question? Question is, describe the structure of a typical flower. If the flower is having the pedicel, pedicel is the stalk of the flower, then the flower is called as pedicellate. So what will be your first point? Your first point will be, whenever you are explaining, first point is always that the flower is the main sexually reproducing organ of the plant. Second point, you will say, if the flower is having the stalk, it is called as pedicellate flower. So flower with pedicel, it is called as pedicellate flower. Third point, you will say, flower without pedicel, without pedicel is called as sessile flower. Then coming to the whorls of the flower, from outermost whorl to innermost whorl, we are going to describe the four whorls of the flower. So fourth point, the four whorls of the flower are four whorls of the flower from outside to inside. Outside to inside are outermost whorl of the flower, it is called as calyx, and the individual member are called as sepals. So how we will make a small chart, a small table. So here you will write the name of the whorl, then individual member, and then the function of the whorl. So the name of the whorl is called as calyx. The members of the calyx are called as sepals. Now, sepals are present just beneath the flower. So, very small green, these are green colored structures. Since they are green in color, they take part in the photosynthesis as well as protection of inner whorls. So, what is the function? Protection of inner whorls as well as photosynthesis, because their color is green. Second whorl of the flower, we can say it is the corolla, and the corolla is made up of petals. Corolla, members, petals, function. Since petals are variously colored, they attract insects for pollination. Variously colored attract insects for pollination. So this is about corolla. Now calyx and corolla. These don't take part directly in reproduction but help in the process of reproduction. So they are called as accessory whorls of the flower. So what you will write? Calyx and corolla. These are called as accessory whorls of the flower. Now, coming to the essential whorls of the flower, we have two essential whorls of the flower. One is male reproductive represented by stamen, and second is female reproductive represented by a carpel. So this is how you will start with the answer. And now let us see the two essential whorls of the flower, which are inside compactly arranged on the inner side of the flower. Third whorl of the flower, inside corolla. It is called as androecium. Individual member is stamen. Androecium. Androecium is the male reproductive whorl of the flower. Individual member stamen. Stamen consists of two parts, filament and anther. If you want to show, you can show a small diagram also over here of filament and anther. Filament is called as the stalk of the stamen, that means this part we are showing, and anther contains pollen grains. So we can write over here, anther produces pollen grains which forms the male gametes. Male gametes. Alright, so this was about androecium or stamen. Coming to innermost whorl of the flower, individual member is carpel and the whole is called as gynoecium. Individual member carpel, parts of the carpel, stigma, style, ovary. Stigma, we can say it is the sticky part of the carpel. Now see, on the stigma, the pollen grains fall on the stigma due to pollination. By the process of pollination, stigma receives the pollen grains and pollen grains germinate on the stigma. What is germination? We'll see in the next part of this topic. So stigma is a sticky part of the carpel. Second, you will say it receives pollen grain during pollination. Receives pollen grains during pollination. What is style? You can see this middle part is style. Style is connecting stigma with the ovary. Connect stigma to ovary. Also we can say through the style, it is the passage of pollen tube. That means through the style, the pollen tube carrying male gametes reaches the ovary. So second function you can write, the pollen tube passes through the style. This we'll discuss in details in the next part in sexual reproduction of the plants. That time we'll discuss. For this answer, writing style, these two functions will be sufficient. Ovary. Ovary is the basal swollen portion of the flower. It contains or it produces ovules. So, basal swollen portion of the flower, it produces ovules, or rather it contains ovules. Ovules forms egg cells or female gametes. Ovules form egg cells or female gametes. So this is what you can write about gynoecium. Gynoecium is the female reproductive part of the flower. Okay, so we have discussed about androecium and gynoecium and the outer whorls also. Next line you will write androecium and gynoecium. Very, very important. These two are essential whorls of the flower. Why essential whorls? Because they take part in sexual reproduction. So essential whorls because since they take part or they participate in sexual reproduction, directly involved in sexual reproduction because they are forming the gametes. So this is how you will explain about androecium and gynoecium. Now, in the concluding part of the answer, you will say that or not all flowers have these androecium and gynoecium. So, what are the terms used for that? Like we used pedicellate for flowers having pedicel. We used sessile for the flowers not having pedicel. Likewise, we'll use some more terms for these flowers. So, what are they called? Let us see that. Yes. So if a flower contains both androecium and gynoecium, then the flower is called as bisexual. So if androecium and gynoecium both are present, then the flower is called as bisexual. Example, hibiscus. If either androecium or gynoecium are present, then that means either androecium is there or gynoecium is there. Then the flower is called as unisexual. Example, papaya. Now see, in papaya, male flower is different and female flower is different. How will the pollination occur? Pollination will occur when the pollen grains from the male flower fall on the stigma of female flower. That is, cross pollination has to occur over here. That we are not going to mention. We are just going to say that unisexual flower means either androecium or gynoecium is present. So, if androecium is present, then it is called as the male flower. If gynoecium is present, then it is called as the female flower. So this is how you will be explaining the complete structure of a typical flower. So I'll just summarize all the points again for you all, how to write the 5 marks answer for this. So first and foremost, you will draw this diagram, or you can even give the introductory statement as flower is the main sexually reproducing unit of angiosperms or flowering plants. Then you will draw this diagram with the steps like I have told you. The diagram would be labeled properly. Okay. Then if you want to draw a more proper diagram, then you can even have a rectangular box. I have purposely not labeled every part on one side because the space was not sufficient for me, and these parts become more clear if you label it on the left side. So it is not necessary that you have to always label everything on the right side. It's not like that. You can label it this way also. So you can have a rectangular box around this, and then you can start with your answer. The four holes of the flower. First you will say the flower with a stalk is called as pedicellate. Without the stalk it is called as sessile. Four holes of the flower: calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium. Their individual members. Calyx and corolla accessory. Androecium and gynoecium are essential holes. If the flower is having both the holes and it is bisexual. If having only one hole, it is unisexual. Give the examples, underline the examples properly. If the flower has only androecium, it is male. If the flower has only gynoecium, then it is complete flower, called as a complete flower. So this will complete your answer for the question. Describe the structure of a typical flower.